Hello everyone, and welcome back to Voxel Tales. My name is Dan, and we're over here at the big open space we just made, where behind me, I've cleared another, smaller space, directly beside the big open space we just made. You see, we're starting today in pursuit of rubber. Because as we established back in episode 42, a lot of the Tech Reborn stuff requires rubber-coated cables to make. So if I want to delve deeper into Tech Reborn, we're going to need a steady rubber supply, which we produce from the sap of rubber trees. Last time I made rubber, I manually drained a bunch of trees one at a time, which was incredibly inefficient. So today I'm going to make us a proper farm. Starting by making this little thicket, which Editor Dan will kindly be fast forwarding through. Cheers me. And there we go, a nice thicket of rubber trees for us to tap for sap. So the next phase of the plan is to get all these trees networked together into a sap collection system. And for that I'm going to use extended drawers and resin basins. Which, you know, thinking on, I only have one of. And naturally, I have none of the stuff to make them either. Brilliant. Let me remedy that real quick. Alright, 11 should be enough for us to make a start at least. Now watch as I erupt from this hole, first try. Ow! First try. Yay! Way to go, Dan. Anyway, let's get this installed. And there we go, resin basin deposits sap into a drawer access point, and then it all gets funneled through the drawer connectors into this drawer on the end. Right, as exciting as I'm sure it'd be for you to watch me make the rest of the basins and access points, I think for the sake of time I'm going to get the rest done off camera and bring you back when it's all ready for the next stage. Back soon! Alrighty, the full 30 tree extraction system is now in. And I've filled in all the spaces between the drawer connectors so that it's a bit tidier and easier to walk around. And it's all working. Although demonstrating that fact isn't easy when their sap regeneration is random. Because naturally they'll all conspire together to make me look like an idiot. Oh, that one's working, look. Good old tree number 30, a real company man, can always rely on him. And as you can see from the setup process alone, we've already amassed over 4 stacks of sap. The next phase of the plan was to convert that sap into usable rubber. Okay, so smelting it gives us 1 rubber for 1 sap. Industrial centrifuge gives us 14 for 4, that's a good exchange. An extractor gives us 3 for 1, again, not bad. This furnace is 1 for 1. And bulk blasting is 1 for 1. Okay, so we want either an industrial centrifuge or an extractor. And I think we'll go with the extractor, because the industrial centrifuge just sounds more expensive to make. Oh, and the extractor is pretty cheap to make by the looks of it. Tree taps are just planks and sticks, and I'm pretty sure we have a few basic machine frames from when we built that grinder. So really all we need to make is that electronic circuit. Nice. Couple of tree taps. Now, do we have anything we need for the circuit already? Ooh, so close. Need a couple more insulated copper cables. So I cocked up the cable recipe. Huh? I thought that's what it said. Oh, it was ingot. Helps if you read properly, Dan. Luckily I could still make them using the bold copper cables I'd made. So then I could make a circuit. And an extractor. Beautiful. The next Minecraft day I returned to my would-be rubber farm to set up the extractor, and almost immediately had an epiphany. Bugger, I've got to power it, don't I? Deciding I ought to keep the Tech Reborn train rolling, I opted to make a couple of these basic solar panels. I could have probably gotten away with just making one of the generators you have to use as a component of the solar panels, but you know, I like to at least try to be environmentally responsible. Ironically, I didn't have enough rubber to make the components for my rubber farm, so I had to pinch a stack of sap out of the collector. Then I could make myself a whole stack and a bit of insulated copper cables, and make more circuits. Then I made a couple of red cell batteries, which were immediately combined with furnaces and basic machine frames to make a pair of generators. Crushed up a stack of coal in our super fast grinder, and finally combined all that together with glass panes to make 2 solar panels to power the extractor. Why 2 solar panels? Because this is Voxel Tales, and you know that if I'd just made one, it wouldn't have been able to keep up with the machine and I'd have ended up having to make another one anyway. See? I'm learning. Right, let's get back over to our sap collector and figure out this farm. You know, a professional would have figured this out before they started, but as I'm just an idiot with a YouTube channel, I guess we're doing it live. Okay, I think that should do us. But before we connect it up fully, we should probably test it out first. Come with me, Sapbox. Oh, should have removed you, shouldn't I? Much better. Okay, nothing's actually going in there. Why is nothing actually going in there? A bit of faffing around revealed that the Tech Reborn stuff needs to have its inputs and outputs configured manually. And after setting up the top of the extractor to receive an input of sap, and the bottom to output completed rubber, our rubber farm was in business. Technically. I mean, a sloth could probably do the 100 meters in the time it takes to process 1 bit of sap, but technically it was doing what it was supposed to. Also, I set this as a smart chute to make sure only rubber came out of the machine, but I guess we don't need that now. Well then, I guess we'll just leave that chugging away to build up a rubber supply while we go do something else. Or it could crap out right in front of me. Yeah, this thing's not getting enough juice. See? Told you we'd need 2 panels. Just bosh that on there. Well, it still sounds like it's struggling, but not as badly now. And it's not like I'm desperate for rubber. Like I said, I could just leave it to plug away and do something else. It is very slow, though. What? I'm not making an alternator because those solar panels are rubbish? Don't know what you mean. And before you say anything, I'm not tapping power off this shaft line to redirect it over to the new farm either. Nope, definitely not doing that. And it'd be reckless for you to insinuate for even a moment that I relocated the farm so it's in line with the wood farm. Still super slow though. But we've fixed speed issues before with these upgrade modules, so I'll just whip up a few of those. Nice to have a use for all that tin we've collected since we started. Nice. Nicer. And just in time too, because we gotta get out of here before all the nasties start showing up. Oh yeah, now we're cooking. Now that is a much more Dan-approved speed. Of course, now it's working so well we might end up overloading that storage drawer if we don't expand its capacity. But that's not an issue because I spotted these drawer upgrades we've had sitting around in storage for months. You know, might as well go the full diamond one just to be safe. Perfect. Right, that's it, I'm done with this for now. Time for something a little more destructive. Flying back and forth between the new area and here while I was making the bits for the rubber farm was a massive pain in the arse. And as this whole area was supposed to be temporary, I've made the executive decision to tear it all down so that the generator over there is purely for powering the village. So let's get to it. Okay, what's this all about?
We are Legion!
Okay, you know what? Let me just sort out a couple of things and I'll deal with you in a mo. Right, let's get you sorted out.
The Dark King's eyes are upon you. He watches, descending into darkness, rising with the sleeper. He saw, he sees beyond, the melody of despair.
Okay, that's quite enough of that. Let's just not worry about that. Brr, creepy birds. Alright, that'll do me for now. It's snowing, it's night time, the birds are weird. I think I'm just going to call it a night. Okay, it's the next real life day, and to save us going over old ground, I've rebuilt all the stuff we took down in its new home over here. Might have improved bits here and there though. Mechanical craft wall is the same as it was before, because it just works. Over here is the sequence manufacturer, except now it's a lot more compact. Honestly don't know why I made it so spread out before. I've got a spare deployer in here so we can swap out the press if needs be. And around the back here I've got a mechanical saw because some of the tracks need sawing first. In the old design I had to take the saw out and put it back in as needed, but now it's fully integrated. Moving down here we have the mixing and pressing station. We have a heated mixer with a blaze burner. Next to that we have the unheated mixer with water. Oh, the water can be turned off with a valve if we don't need it. Moving on, we have a heated press. And then the non-heated press with lava that, again, can be shut off if it's not needed. And lastly, we have a press for pressing single items. But unlike before, it's all set up at eye level and a lot easier to access. Over here, we have a new bulk haunting station to go with our other bulk stations. And then bulk washing like before. And also bulk smelting. But also like before, the bulk washing and smelting stations are connected together. So if I were to temporarily move these two chests, two sides can access this tunnel. And we can say wash sand into clay balls and then smelt it into bricks in one continuous process. I get that I can make a dedicated brickmaking machine, and in some instances I'll do that, but I also like the idea of having modular equipment that can make multiple things as we need them. But I think that's everything, isn't it?
Crushing station.
Crap. Well, I suppose I could just editor magic that in right there. Like that, for example. I've slightly improved the design on this one as well by swapping out the depot for a chute and chest so I don't have to stand around and wait for the crusher to be finished. Okay, now I think we have everything back up and running. Which means we can move on. And we're moving on to our farm collection setup. Currently, everything our harvester collects gets fed into the system, and it funnels all the wheat and veggies onto this conveyor belt to wait for the train. And all the excess seeds get sent over here into a composter setup. The composters turn them into bone meal, and that bone meal gets spat out onto a conveyor belt and rejoins the main belt going off to the train. In fact, the train should be along any second. Yeah, there it is. Look, I love that little train. Happy Christmas, little robot! Hello, sir, and a happy holidays to you, too! Anyway, the train will load everything on the conveyor belt and carry it off to be stored at the warehouse. But the thing is, we get a ton of bones from the skeleton and zombie farm, so we don't really need the seeds to be making bone meal for us. So I've been thinking of a better way to use them, and that is biofuel. You see, we could use blaze cakes to superheat our blaze burners, but we can also use biofuel. If we use blaze cakes, we'd need to constantly be manufacturing them and design a way to distribute them to all the burners that need them. Or we can use biofuel being pumped through a pipe network. Better yet, we can make an infinite tank of biofuel and never worry about running out. To make biofuel, we need to mix sugar, cinder flour, and biomass. We can make a simple sugarcane farm to get sugar, and we have a stupid amount of netherrack in storage to grind into cinder flour, which just leaves the biomass. We produce biomass by mixing plant matter and seed oil over a heated blaze burner. And it's the seed oil that I plan to use our excess seeds to produce, because it's made by seemingly taking any type of seed and pressing it in a basin. So I guess the next thing to do is go over to the factory area and set up some kind of seed processor. Of course, that would also beg the question of how I'm going to get the seeds over to the factory. I mean, I suppose I could divert the train to swing by and drop off the seeds, but I have something in mind that I think is going to be much more fun. To the track maker! Now, in order for this little idea I'm brewing to work, I'm going to need to make something called phantom track. This stuff here. It's made by adding iron ingots to a phantom membrane and pressing them together. and you get half a stack per phantom membrane, which is a bargain. Look at that, an entire chest of rail. Perfect. Not going to need all of it, obviously, but it's good to have extra. With the tracks safely tucked away in storage, I set about expanding the floor so I had somewhere to build the seed oil processor. Alright, that should do. Let me grab a few bits and we'll figure this thing out. Okay, good start. Just check the chute works with the basin. Yes, it does. Good. Let's get the pipe out of there and get the power connected. Okay, power's on. Let's chuck a seed in to test. Oh yeah, seed oil. Now we just got to get it out of there. Just like that. Right. You hold on to those, and you give me a few minutes to make this thing a bit more industrial. Boom! Behold, my creation. We're going to have 4 seed presses running, so hopefully we should get a ton of seed oil in fairly short order. And if you recognise that distribution system, it's because I ripped it right out of the composter at the farm that we're no longer using. Alright, so... Well, we don't want rotten veg going over there, so I'm going to have to tweak the item filters, I suppose. Anyway, what I was going to say is now I need to design something to get the seeds transported to the new processor, so back in a jiffy. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the hover drone. But its textures have all gone wrong, so I'm going to have to fix that for a sec. That's better! Reminds me a bit of those shuttlecraft they used in Star Trek The Next Generation. Only, you know, a bit less space age. Okay, so now we have a drone to take the seeds to the factory, but it still needs a track to run on, so let me get some rails. And we're also going to need a station for it to stop at. Okay, so the cool thing about these phantom rails we made is that they're invisible unless you're holding one in your hand. So with a little creative track laying, we can make it look like our drone is flying. But first let's get the station set up. And we'll pop it down just here. Okay, and we should be able to turn our drone into a train because it's sitting on an invisible bogie. Of course we can't. Now, looks like the station needs moving forward one. Okay, now we should be able to make it a train. That looks right. Haha, bingo! And we shall rename it to Drone. Perfect. Now we should be able to manipulate it through the window to make sure it's glued properly. Yeah, looking good. Beautiful. Right, we're going to need another one of these at the other end. Like so. Okay, I'm going to dick around laying the track, and I'll bring you guys back in for the fun bit. The test flight. Well, that was a pain in the arse, I'm glad I didn't record. But we are finally ready. So laying a course, it's test flight time. Well, I'd say that was a roaring success. And best of all, I got the station positioned perfectly at this end. So I shall take the drone back to the farm, and in the morning we'll sort out automation. So I was getting into bed last night, and it dawned on me that I didn't put any storage on the drone. Which, you know, would go a long way to making it capable of transporting seeds for us. I mean, it's an easy fix, but it's also so obvious that I should have thought of it during the design phase. Bosh! A single item vault. That's all it should need. And we'll cover it up with a copycat board and a bit of white smooth sandstone for now. Good enough. After that I headed back to the sequence recipe machine to make a hat for the new conductor robot I was going to have to make. And then headed back to the drone with a schedule in hand, ready to get this show on the road. Of course it's snowing. Could have started this project in the summer, but no. Anyway, schedule. The schedule's pretty simple, so I'll save you watching me setting it all up. Basically, the drone will travel at full speed between the seed collection and seed drop-off stations. When it gets there, it'll start unloading or offloading as needed, and it'll keep going until there's been no cargo activity for 10 seconds, and then move on. See? Told you it was simple. Explained the whole thing, and Pastan has barely finished setting the first speed. Okay, that's the boring bit done. Let's get ourselves a driver. Well, more like a pilot, I suppose. Hopefully these robots can handle a drone. 'Cause, yeah, we need to start getting these seeds moved. Hello!
System online. Greetings, sir. How may I be of assistance?
Do you think you can fly a drone for me?
My system can adapt to most vehicle types. I should be able to comply.
Nice! Let's get you out of this snow.
Affirmative.
Alright, buddy, good luck.
Affirmative. Please provide a schedule.
Alright, there he goes. We should probably follow him over there, eh? Tell you what, though, that thing can shift. Oh yeah, we are unloading and already producing seed oil. I love it when a plan comes together. Ah, good, the snow's lighting up. About time and all. Yeah, we got a ton of seeds in here. But it also looks like we're done unloading, so in a few seconds the drone should be on its way. Yay, there it goes. Yeah, that's never going to get old, is it? And this thing's filling up so fast I'm probably going to have to add a backup tank. About 2 minutes later and the tank was already 30,000 millibuckets more full, so yeah, overflow tank it was. There, that should stop us from backing up. Shouldn't be an issue once we start actually using it to make biomass, but for now at least it'll be contained. And just in time too, because that tank was full. Anyway, I'm going to wait for it to equalise and then we'll do the sign-off. Well guys, in not really that long at all, we've amassed over 180,000 millibuckets of seed oil ready to help us make biofuel in the new year. For now though, I hope you enjoyed this bumper episode. If you did, then help the channel out by subscribing and leaving us a cheeky like and a comment below. But that's it for 2024, I'm afraid. It's Christmas next week and New Year's the week after, so I'm going to give myself a little break. So, Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all of you. And until 2025, remember, be good. And if you can't be good, don't get caught. Bye guys.